Hello children, my name is Jeremy, this is Red Means Recording, and today we're back at the Roland TR6S because, happy day, we have an editor. Well, and you think it's just an editor for the TR6S? No, it's an editor for the TR-8S too. That's right. Editors for the TRs from Roland. The number and followed by the S. Anyways, TR6S, by the way, is a tiny little but powerful drum machine that Roland makes that has 6 little voices. They are gay, which is fantastic. And it's got a lot of great sounds in it. It's got a little sort of drum synth engine. It's got effects. It's really, really powerful and really, really great for performance. I used it recently in a sort of like banging electro set that I did. And yeah, it's great. Very, very like immediate. Got access to a bunch of Roland sounds in it. But now we have an editor. So Roland reached out, Mr. Roland personally that I know, and they were like, would you like to do a video on this for your channel? I was like, yes, because editors are fun. All right, so let's talk about the editor. I can click up here and change to a blank pattern and go to a blank kit. And you can see that the TR6S responded, which is great. So you can also see that these respond. Hey, Future Jeremy here. I'm popping in to let you know that I kind of messed up on my screen capture settings for the editor. You're going to see some choppy frame rates, but that's not how it actually responds. As you can see from this video where I got the capture settings right, it actually responds nice and smooth. So any choppiness that you see in the editor during this video is because of my screw up. It is not indicative of how it is in actual use. It's much smoother and just as you would expect it to be. So sorry about that. Just use your imagination, okay? Thanks. Back to the video. And all the knobs will respond to. So the great thing about editors is that they reveal things about the piece of gear that maybe you didn't know was there. And they should give you easier access to things that you already knew were there, but within, a flattened software interface. So that's what we get here. I can click on each one of these and load up any of the available sounds, including my own samples that I have in there. Let's go ahead and turn our tempo down just a little bit so we can make something that, sounds good. We have access to that right here. Let's go about 80. So yes, you can see that we can select our different sounds here and we have categories for each one, which is really, really nice. So yeah, I can pick a sound, and you'll see over on the left here, it says what type it is. So for instance, the FM ones are from the FM engine, and will give us slightly different controls. That's kind of cool. Once we picked one, we can do the tuning and decay. And then we can pick another control here. So for right now, let's do reverb send. And that's controlled right here. We don't have any reverb up yet. We'll get to that in a little bit. We already talked about how these respond. You can see when I entered notes right here, or steps, they showed up. I can also enter them here, which is really nice. And then we have access to velocity, which is really, really cool as well. We can also do tuning in here. But first, we have to turn on motion sequencing. Decay. And something to note here is that it will hold that value until it hits another one, and that includes between patterns as well. Already getting kind of fun there. Control here will be whatever we send here. So right now it is a reverb send. So why don't we get some reverb turned on? We're going to go over to effects, turn up the level of our reverb. You can see here that various things are already sent. So here we can have access to turning these down, and maybe we'll turn them up later. We also have a delay that we can do the same thing with. So now, if we go like this, let's go ahead and adjust our reverb to something more like a room's pretty cool. So we're already really, really getting in and doing all that kind of motion stuff that we would have done by recording it in real time. And I think that's pretty cool. All right. Let's pick a different snare. What do we got for snares? Kind of want this to be a little weird. Yeah. Okay. So if we switch our motion control thing here to SD, we'll see our snare thing here. Let's talk about substeps and alts. So we have the ability to do these alt step things, which is pretty cool. It's different for each one. Each kind of instrument has a different sort of alternative thing, which is kind of cool. And then substeps. So with that on, we'll do little rolls. And you can see that as I click into the editor here, I'm actually adding the step at the value of velocity that I want, which I think is pretty goddamn cool. What could we choose for our thing here? Look at all this stuff. So like I said, depending on which engine you have access to different things here. And when we go into instrument, we'll see, I have to go ahead and select a snare drum here. You'll see all the stuff that we have access to in here, which is pretty damn cool. So what should we mess with? That's pretty cool. Built-in stereo spread. Filters. How about that bit reduce? So what we're going to do is say select and bit reduce. So now our instrument effect thing, by the way, if I turn that up here on the actual hardware, it'll happen too. And that goes for anything I select to this. So for instance, if I was to do filter cutoff, it'd be that. So every channel in here can have its own separate control here, which is pretty fun. So let's go ahead back to bit reduce. And let's go into our control. That's kind of cool. All right, I'm going to go to our effects here and turn on our delay. And let's go ahead and change the time on this. Let's go back to our snare drum, and I'm going to turn the filter down a bit. And I'm going to turn the filter envelope up a little bit. Let's go to our low tom. Let's do something bassy with this. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to go to bass. Let's see what we got. Cool. Let's give ourselves some cool hi-hats. Oh, wait. Let's give ourselves an interesting clap. I love that there are stereo samples in here. The 808's the best. Closed hi-hat. I'm going to want some substeps on this. So I'm going to go into closed hi-hat, velocity. You see you get access to substep here. Turn it on. And I can choose how much I want that to be. Okay, open hi-hat. What can we do with this? Let's go to pads. Or synth. Oh, maybe chords. What do we got? By the way, every single one of our individual things here can have its own instrument effect. So what could we do for this? Let's go back through and like add some fun stuff to this. So our snare, how about... For our distorted sine bass, what can we do for this? Sounds pretty good without any effect on it like that. Our closed hi-hats. Ooh, you know what we could do? Let's put that ring. Oh, frequency shift? Yeah. Now let's go ahead and we're going to do our control here for this and go to instrument effects. Give that a little bit of motion. Okay, cool. So we have our first pattern. So let's talk about patterns. If we go over to pattern here, you can see our whole pattern. We have things like accents, which is pretty cool. Let's listen to what that sounds like. So if you want to just program your pattern from here, you can. One of the other fun things we can see here is this auto fill-in thing here. So let's listen to what that sounds like. So what you just heard is the scatter, and it cycles every 4 bars. Let's make this like 2 so it's really easy to hear. And let's play around with the scatter settings. Actually, you know what? I can just turn this off completely. I'm going to use the fill-in like here, and you're going to see that I have access to scatter here. So let's listen to that. And I can play around with this too. Scatter type. Scatter is still extremely cool. We'll talk about other fill-in types once we have gotten a chance to make some more patterns. So let's do that. In a pattern, the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H stuff is called a variation. So if I say copy variation, and then I say 501A, so 501B. Yeah, do it. So we have to hit get, and then we get a B. So now we're on variation B. Let's go ahead and make some variations to this, meaning some changes to what we do. And let's go ahead and change the substep to flam. You can hear that little flam now. What else could we do? Let's go to our bass drum. Little change there, and our snare drum. Cool, that's fun. Send that. Okay, so now that we have like 4 patterns in a fill, let's go back to our fill, and I'll show you how this all works. So let's see, pattern, fill 1, and let's change this to auto fill in and cycle every 8 bars, because we have a 4-bar pattern. So while I'm in variation mode here, I'm just going to hold down all 4 of those, and now that will just kind of chain. And there's our fill. What have we gone over? Well, we talked about the fact that we have access to all of our motion sequencing and regular sequencing right here. We have access to pattern sequencing within the pattern thing for all of this. We have access to, in the instrument, all kinds of individual controls for the thing, depending on whether or not it's a PCM or whether or not it's a ACB, which is their alternative circuit modeling. I can't remember what it's called now. What the hell does ACB stand for? I forgot. God damn it, I have to look this up. What is analog circuit behavior? Okay, sure. All right, that, yeah. So, you know, depending on whether it's the ACB stuff, which is synthesized, or if it's the PCM, which is a sample, or whether or not it's the FM engine, it will give you all this fun stuff in here. If we go back to our bass drum, you'll see that this is all different. In fact, we have this morph function instead. You can barely hear in the background because we got that filter down. But it's pretty cool, right? Oh, I forgot to tell you. You can change the colors. Watch. Orange. That's an off-white, really. Pink. Red. And you can set up mute groups and stuff here, which is really, really cool. Mute groups allow you to have things like hi-hats choke each other. Wow, that sounds bad. Mute groups are for when you want like the open hi-hat to stop when the closed hi-hat comes back in. It's very, very useful to have them. But it's also really, really fun for finger drumming if you're doing like more like sample-based kind of boom bap stuff. It can be really fun to mess around with that. All right, let's talk about our master effect. So we've talked about the reverb and delay. What else we got? Well, we got master effect. And that's if you go like this. You can see master effect there. Right now it's this kind of DJ filter. But we have a whole bunch of stuff in here. So this is a fun way to get in and perform. And you can choose whether or not you want, for instance, depth or the other thing like resonance to be controlled here. And then if you go down to here, you can actually sequence this. I don't know what pattern we're on right now. So if I go to this variation C here, we can play around this a bit more. So let's go back to our effects, master effects. So we get depth, and we actually get switch on and off. A lot of really, really fun control here. That one's pretty wild. Like I said earlier, an editor reveals what is going on under the hood. And as you can see, there's a lot of cool stuff that this does under the hood. It's a surprisingly deep little drum machine. And, you know, I don't keep every piece of gear that I demo here, but this doesn't take up much space and it just kind of hangs out. And every time I need like classic Roland sounds, I'm like, I know just the friend to do that. And yeah, with the addition of the editor, we get access to a lot of stuff where it's easier to make kits and make things a little bit more custom for you. So it's always nice to have access to that kind of thing. And that's all there is to it. That's all I wanted to say about it. Is there anything that I have missed? We don't have like a sample importer yet of any kind, which would be nice, like being able to make your own kits within this thing. So Roland, if you're listening, why don't you give that to us? Why don't you do that for us? But otherwise, this provides a great little software front end for you to dive into the TR6S and get a little bit more out of it. Thanks for watching. I hope this was fun for you. If you have a TR6S, grab the editor, have fun with it, and bang some beats against the wall. I think that's what the kids are saying. My name is Jeremy. This is Red Means Recording, and I hope you have a wonderful day.